Over and over again, I was told that Mr. Sharpe should die in prison, that he should never see the light of day.
I have no forgiveness in my heart for you. You are a monster with no remorse.
Ohio school shooter T.J. Lane today shouted hateful and unprintable obscenities at the relatives of the 3 children he murdered, then gave them the finger and laughed and smirked as they characterized him as an animal and a monster. Lane, 18, got another giggle when the court sentenced him to 3 life sentences without the possibility of parole.
First, the defendant's conduct was without any provocation. Second, it was extreme. He was relentless in his shooting. He repeatedly fired his gun at these victims in sequence, moving into position to better the aim. He inflicted extreme injury, and he kept shooting, emptying the magazine that was in the gun of all 10 of its shells.
Lane was waiting for a bus to an alternate school when he murdered 3 kids at Chardon High School on February 27, 2012. The assault killed Daniel Parmurder, 16, Demetrius Hewlin, 16, and Russell King Jr., 17. 3 more pupils were hurt. Lane wore a blue button-down shirt to his sentencing hearing today. He sat down and unbuttoned his shirt, revealing a white t-shirt with the word "killer" written across the front in black marker. When Lane was given the chance to speak in court, he offered a brief, harsh remark that finished with "F all of you" before holding up his middle finger in front of the families of the 3 pupils he shot down. "Frankly, I wasn't prepared for this," the prosecutor said minutes after Lane made the gesture. He said Lane's actions demonstrated that he is a disgusting human being. "This confirms what we've suspected all along. This was a cold, calculated, premeditated killing," the prosecutor added. Lane sneered and laughed when family members of his victims referred to him as repulsive and expressed their desire for him to be imprisoned like an animal for the rest of his life. Lane's defense counsel informed the court that he strongly urged Lane not to speak what he was going to say in front of the court. But Lane went through regardless. Today, survivor Nick Walchak appeared in court. Walchak was shot in the neck, the back, and the arm 3 times. After one of the bullets struck his spinal cord, he became paralyzed. He knew the 3 teenagers that were slain. Several family members of those that Lane murdered and injured were present in court and made impassioned speeches. A few weeks prior to the shooting, Russell told his friends that he wanted to hang out with the shooter again. Russell King Jr.'s sister said in court he wished to be his pal. He felt bad for him. Lane grinned.
"Things I was looking forward to, I will never get to see. My baby brother graduate high school, go to college, graduate college, get married, have children. I will never be an aunt, and my children will never know their uncle."
Parmurder, Daniel Parmurder's mother, was the most outspoken in her condemnation of Lane. "I want him to feel my rage," she said. "After today, I refuse to give him another second of my attention. He is revolting. We never say his name, and we never will."
And deep sadness.
"He was a mere baby, my baby. That murderer could have never been a fraction of the man Danny was going to be."
He said that Lane faked mental illness following the incident. On the contrary, T.J. Lane was a bright student who was poised to graduate early. On February 27, 2012, he was not insane, incompetent, or impaired, the court said. He carried out a murderous scheme knowingly and systematically. Of course, he was well aware that what he was doing was wrong. Lane pleaded guilty to 3 charges of aggravated murder, 2 counts of attempted aggravated murder, and 1 count of felonious assault on February 26. Because he was 17 at the time of the incident, he was ineligible for the death sentence. Prosecutors say they will seek a life sentence without the possibility of parole for a 16-year-old teenager who murdered 4 classmates at a Michigan high school and pleaded guilty to murder, and terrorism. They revealed their intentions in a court document 3 weeks after Ethan Crumbley, 16, abandoned a potential insanity defense and admitted to the November 2021 shooting at Oxford High School. In Michigan, a first-degree murder conviction carries an automatic no-parole sentence. Teenagers, on the other hand, are entitled to a hearing in which their counsel may emphasize immaturity, mental health, family life, and other factors in order to argue for a lower sentence. Crumbley entered a guilty plea to all 24 counts. Judge Coaim Rowe will be able to be flexible. According to state legislation, prospective juvenile jail sentences include parole eligibility after a minimum sentence of 25 years.
You're charged in count 4 with first-degree murder. That is a felony where you face up to life without parole, or a minimum of sentence of 25 to 40 years and a maximum sentence of at least 60 years.
The suggestion for a life sentence, according to defense counsel Paulette Michelle Lofton, is disappointing but not surprising. Crumbley, she feels, may be reformed in jail. The hearing will give the court, as well as the public, a good inside look into Mr. Crumbley's difficult home life and what challenges he was facing, Lofton told the Associated Press. The teen was 15 years old at the time of the shooting at Oxford High School, some 30 miles, 50 kilometers north of Detroit. 4 pupils were murdered and 6 others, as well as a teacher, were wounded. His parents, James and Jennifer Crumbley, are in prison on involuntary manslaughter charges. They are accused of allowing their son to have access to the pistol while disregarding his need for mental health care. In his guilty plea, Ethan Crumbley said that his father purchased the pistol for him using the teen's own money only a few days before the incident.
Is it true that your actions on November the 30th, 2021 caused the deaths of Madison Baldwin, Tamir, Hannah St. Juliana, and Justin Schilling?
Yes.
Is it true that the firearm that you used on November the 30th was purchased on November the 26th, 2021 by your father, James Crumbley?
Yes.
Is it true on November the 30th, 2021, when you obtained the firearm, it was not kept in a locked container or a safe?
Yes, it was not locked.
People are satisfied.
The pistol, according to the youngster, was not secured in a container or safe at home. Ethan Crumbley's bag included a 9mm Sig Sauer pistol and 50 rounds of ammo. A teacher had noticed a sketch of a rifle pointed at the words, "The thoughts won't stop. Please assist me." There was a bullet picture with the words, "Blood everywhere." According to authorities, the Crumbleys refused to take their kid home, but were advised to get him into therapy within 48 hours. Later, Ethan Crumbley entered a school restroom, took out a firearm, and started firing. In their criminal case, the parents are requesting that a court provide them access to expert evaluations on their son's mental health. They feel the information will help their defense. In a court filing, the defense counsel said that the Crumbleys maintain that they had no reason to believe that the shooter had mental health concerns that would need treatment. They admit that their son was saddened by the deaths of his dog, grandmother, and a friend who had recently moved away. Nikolas Cruz was a shooter who opened fire at a high school in Parkland, Florida in 2018, killing 17 and injuring 17 others.
He's remanded to the custody of the Department of Corrections. And he's to be given credit in the amount of 1,718 days time served.
He has been sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of release, which concluded 2 days of heartbreaking comments from victims' families.
We are beyond disappointed with the outcome today.
I'm stunned. I'm devastated.
Today's ruling was yet another gut punch for so many of us.
Judge Elizabeth Shearer's sentence was a foregone result after a jury could not unanimously agree that Nikolas Cruz, 24, who was 19 at the time of the assault, merited the death penalty. They voted 9-3 to execute him, falling short of the legal criteria, and instead recommended life in prison without the possibility of release. While the topic has split survivors and family members of the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School victims, many have warned Cruz that he has prevented genuine justice from being served in the case.
The only comfort I have is that your life in prison will be filled with horror and fear. So my hope for you is that you die sooner rather than later. I have no forgiveness in my heart for you. You are a monster with no remorse, and every breath you take is a breath wasted.
Cruz pled guilty to murder and attempted murder in 2021, with his defense claiming that his mother's drug and alcohol addiction had permanently harmed his brain at his punishment hearing. Cruz, handcuffed and wearing a red prison jumpsuit, gazed calmly at the speakers but showed no emotion over the 2 days of proceedings. The court praised the families and injured who testified, describing them as strong, elegant, and patient. "I know you'll be fine because you have each other," Shearer added. Spokane County Superior Court Judge Michael Price determined that Caleb Sharpe must go before a sentence review board before being released. Sharpe's chances of reoffending and degree of rehabilitation will be assessed by the board. With credit for time served, he will have to wait 35 years before requesting parole. Sharpe has 30 days to file an appeal. When Price announced the punishment after more than an hour of discussing the legal background for his decision,
Over and over again, I was told that Mr. Sharpe should die in prison, that he should never see the light of day.
there was minimal emotion in the courtroom. Randy Russell, superintendent of the Freeman School District, said in a statement that the community is happy the lawsuit is concluded after a difficult 5 years. Sharpe took numerous firearms to school on September 13th, 2017, and opened fire on students, killing Strahan, wounding 3 females, and scaring scores more. Sharpe, now 20, pled guilty to aggravated murder, 3 charges of attempted murder, and 1 act of assault earlier this year. Sharpe apologized publicly for the first time. "There's really only one thing I can say," Sharpe added, "and for that, I apologize."
Now that I'm here, I can see clear as anything that there's really only one thing I can say. And that's I'm sorry. I'm sorry to this entire community. I'm sorry to every single person I forced PTSD upon. I'm sorry to Gracie, Jordan, and Emma for the scars on their bodies and their minds that I can never erase or take back. And from that point on till now, evil has no place in my heart. Not after I saw that price. I don't live to myself anymore. I can't.
Sharpe claims that he can never rectify his wrongs or conduct adequate penance. Sharpe stated that he is now praying for pardon. Amy Strahan sobbed as he talked, soothed by her daughter Emily. Strahan, the 3 wounded girls, and scores of community residents pleaded for Price to impose the maximum penalty authorized by law, roughly 46 years to life in jail. Thanks so much for watching. As always, please be sure to like this video, leave your comments below, and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on our next video.